The firewood was damp this morning, and my fingers were so numb I could barely grip the axe. You know what's almost comical? 5 years ago, these same fingers were signing 3 billion franc transfers in an air-conditioned office on Bahnhofstrasse, Zurich. Corner office, 14th floor. I could see the lake from my desk. Now I look at a lake too, but this one has bears. My name is Werner. I'm 67, and I live alone in a cabin near Lake Iliamna, Alaska, 4 hours by bush plane from Anchorage. My nearest neighbor is 35 miles away. I've met him once. We nodded. I ran a private bank in Zurich for almost 2 decades. Not UBS, not Credit Suisse. A boutique, smaller, quieter. That's the thing people don't understand about Swiss private banking. The quieter the bank, the louder the secrets. We managed 14 billion francs. 14 billion. I used to say that number at board meetings like it was my heartbeat, like it proved I was alive. And I was good. I was very, very good. I survived 2008 without firing a single person, which gave me this reputation. Werner is human. People actually said that at galas, at conferences. Werner is one of the few who still has a heart. And I'd smile and shake their hand and think, you have no idea. Because here's what having a heart looked like behind closed doors. It looked like knowing that the family from Lagos had money that smelled wrong, knowing that the oligarch's wife wasn't managing an art collection. She was parking cash from aluminum contracts that had blood on them, knowing it, and filing the compliance report that said everything was clean. Because that's what you do. That's how it works. You don't ask the question you don't want answered. My first marriage ended in 2003. My second in 2014. Both women said the same thing, almost word for word. You're not here, Werner. And they were right. I wasn't. I was in my head, running numbers, always running numbers. My daughter, Lena, she's 38 now. She hasn't spoken to me in 9 years. 9 years. I keep counting. Every birthday, I add 1 to the number. It's become this ritual, I suppose, a terrible one. My son Marcus works in fintech in Singapore. We talk sometimes, polite conversations, like 2 acquaintances who happen to share DNA. You want to know what Swiss private banking really is? I'll tell you. It's a system of numbered accounts. That's the famous part, yes? No names, just numbers. Client 4471, client 8903. It makes everything clean, efficient. You're not hiding money for a human being with a face and a history and children. You're managing account 8903. That's all. And I spent 40 years inside that system until I realized I was also a numbered account. To the board, I was CEO number 7 of that chair, not Werner Meyer, number 7. To my clients, I was service provider number 1. To my ex-wives, I was absent husband, accounts 1 and 2. To my children, I don't know what number I was to my children. Something low, something they stopped checking the balance on a long time ago. That's not a metaphor. That's how it felt. Like my entire existence had been reduced to a function, a number performing a function. And the moment the function stopped being useful, the number would be retired. December 2021. My compliance team flagged a client, Nigerian family connected to a general. The origin of funds pointed to arms trafficking, clear as day. Protocol was simple: report, freeze, close. I'd done it 100 times for small accounts, but this was 340 million francs. My CFO came to my office, closed the door and said, "Werner, this is a 340 million franc relationship. We don't lose this. You know how this works." And I did know. That was the problem. I knew exactly how it worked, because I'd done it 200 times, 300. I'd lost count. I sat in that office after he left, looking at the lake through the window, and I waited to feel something: guilt, anger, fear, anything. And nothing came. Nothing. Just silence inside. And that silence, that absence of feeling, that's what terrified me more than any regulatory audit ever could. Because you can fix a mistake. You can't fix nothing. You can't repair a man who doesn't feel anymore. January 2022, annual board meeting. I delivered a flawless presentation. Record numbers, inflows above target, compliance, clean. The chairman stood up, shook my hand and said, "Werner, you've never been better." And I heard those words, and the only thought in my head was, I have never been more dead. I excused myself, went to the executive washroom, and vomited. I resigned 48 hours later. Nobody understood. "Werner, take a sabbatical. Werner, you need rest." No, I didn't need rest. I didn't know what I needed. I just knew I had to get away from numbered accounts, all of them, including my own. I found this cabin through a bush pilot who owed a favor to someone I'd never met. It's one room, 5 by 4 meters, a wood stove, a bed, a table with one chair. No electricity from any grid, no cell signal, no internet. The water comes from a creek. or from melted ice when the creek freezes, which is most of the year. I cut wood for 2-3 hours every day. If I don't, I freeze. It's that simple. There's no ambiguity in it, no compliance gray areas. The wood is wet or it's dry. The fire burns or it doesn't. My hands are cracked and one fingernail has turned black from a bad swing with a hatchet. These hands, they used to hold Mont Blanc pens, crystal glasses. Now they hold an axe. And honestly, the axe makes more sense. I still wear my Patek Philippe, Calatrava, the only thing I bought from Zurich. I don't use it to tell time. I stopped caring about time the day I arrived. I wear it because it reminds me of who I was. And every morning when I see it on my wrist, scratched, dulled, fogged with condensation, I think, that's what happened to you too, Werner. You got scratched, you got dulled, and now you sit by a frozen lake in Alaska, and you listen to the ice crack. In March, the ice on Lake Iliamna starts to break apart. It makes this sound, deep, slow, almost geological, like the earth is resettling, readjusting, finding a new position after being locked in place for months. I sit on a rock by the shore and I listen to that for hours. Sometimes I think that sound is the most honest thing I've ever heard. No agenda, no number, no account. Just the world shifting because it's time to shift. My daughter's voice, I still remember it. Not the angry one, the one from when she was 6. Papa, schau mal. Papa, look. And I never really looked. I was running numbers. I'm not running anything now. I sit here. I breathe. The air is so cold it burns your throat going in, and that's enough. For the first time in 67 years, that's enough.